Alright, my name is Waldog. I want to make a quick little video. I said I was going to go to bed, but I wanted to talk about something lighthearted, something not too negative or whatever. And I'm talking in this tone of voice because I'm really quite agitated because of that smoke alarm, not because of what I'm talking about. But see, like I don't know. I've recorded probably like 30 minutes worth of sitting here in my chair, and it's like 30 minutes of that beeping. It has gotten to me. But I'm fine. I'm okay. Anyways, I want to talk about how something warmed my heart earlier today. I heard someone. Um, I presume they were talking about me. Okay, that alarm or that beeping. So, anyways, I presume, which I'm like 99% sure that if somebody was talking about me, I heard a person say, "Oh, he's very spiritual, very religious," or something along those lines, like saying something positive about my spiritual uh, lifestyle and beliefs. And I was like, "Yeah," thank you. That means a lot. It was someone like in the, it was someone like I couldn't see, and I wasn't looking around. I was keeping to myself, and it didn't make any difference, if I was to look or see or whatever. But I heard, I was like, yeah, it made me feel really good. And I forget what else I was gonna say, but the beeping. I remember what I was gonna say. I remember. I'm gonna power through this, you guys. I'm gonna power through this. So the reason why it made me feel really good, and it reminded me, or should I say right now, in thinking of it, being spiritual and being positive. Um, like my whole demeanor and tone of voice right now is absolutely wrong with what I'm talking about. But I'm again, the smoke alarm beeping, drive me crazy. Um, what it made me think about was how there are things out there in the world that are not good. There are things out in the world that are, and particularly in spiritual stuff. There are things out there that are, I don't like. Basically, I like to go by the nickname Wall Dog. I've named myself that. No one gave me that name. I named myself that, by the way. If I was a Chihuahua, I like to describe myself as a Chihuahua. I respect Chihuahuas for many reasons. One, because the word Chihuahua is hilarious, and the personalities of Chihuahuas are remarkable. I do like dogs. I've always liked dogs. Um, I like the bravery of dogs. And what I wanted to say is that if there was a spiritual thing that was not good and that was making me feel uncomfortable with my identification of it. I would be like a chihuahua barking. Clearly, like what I'm trying to say is not funny right now because of my how I feel again. But but on a serious note, since I'm being kind of serious now because I'm you know there's a few movies out there that one that I think of. There's a movie called I believe it's called Constantine. I think it's a pretty cool movie. And have I ever? I'll be honest with you. Like there are certain things that it's not my cup of tea. Uh, you know, part of me wants to say certain things leave it to the professionals, right? And when it comes to certain spiritual stuff, um, that's not what I'm. That's not my just not my cup of tea. It's not my thing. And try to stay positive. Try to have I'm doing my thing. Do I play with the idea of trying to do more, trying to use my supernatural abilities to interact in that way to help, with spiritual situations. Maybe, but just briefly, because I don't like that. I never have. Uh, trying to do good and trying to help, and that's one thing. But me personally, I don't know. For me, it's like pray to God. I'll pray to God. I'll ask for the Holy Spirit to help people, to help myself in times of need. Like I'll do that. Like that is in my genre. That isn't. I don't know. That's not the right word, but I think it makes sense. That is what I feel comfortable with. But like the whole there's a lot that I'm just like nah. And by me trying to be a role model and setting a positive example, and for the message of this channel, spreading positive awareness of nice vampires and bridge communication and communication in general, and trying to be funny myself. As a role model, I'd say, pray to God and leave it to God, leave it to higher power, and there are people who are dedicated their lives to you know to helping others, and being very spiritual and close to God. And those are the right people. to talk to. So I'm gonna go ahead and get going. Just want to make this video and give thanks. All right, y'all. Have a good night.